Yo, what the fuck is up? Welcome to a special Sunday edition of the Plugged Up Podcast. Goddamn, we have been going hard at the podcast game for the last 24 hours. And I'd like to introduce my next illustrious guest, all the way from the little city of Georgetown, Texas, XBvalentine. How the hell's your Sunday going, girl?
Well, it's Sunday, so it's going pretty good. It's pretty chill. How's yours going? Pretty good.
Okay, so have you been here since your show on Friday, or have you been just busting it back and forth?
Yeah, I kind of come like every other weekend, pretty much. So I like come back and forth between Dallas and Georgetown a lot because my manager actually lives here, so it's just easier. So I just come back and forth. So, yeah.
Do you do a lot of traveling instead of Texas?
Yeah, well, kind of. I really just go back and forth, like I said, like between Georgetown and Dallas, and I live like 25 minutes away from Austin, so.
Okay. Oh shit.
Yeah, so Austin's like this considered our city, like 512. It's the same area, so.
Bruh. Have you made any headway in like opening venues down there for you to perform at, and like finding little spots for you to do your thing?
Yeah, I performed at a few places. I did a South by Southwest show there last year at a Club 512, so that's one of the things I did. Yeah, it's pretty dope.
That's really cool. Tell me a little bit more about the Austin scene, because I'm straight up Dallas boy. I don't get out of the city much. I be either up here or I be blocking to Deep Island blowing that shit down. So tell me, like, you're a little bit closer to that shit. I feel like it's a lot of artsy kids and different types of music, like stuff that's a little bit more far out there than this quote unquote trap music.
Yeah, Austin. Well, that's mainly the main reason why I come to Dallas, because Dallas is more hip hop. Like they're more accepting of it, and then Austin it's like more indie bands, like singer songwriter and just stuff like that. Because it's like the hippie city. Like everyone over there is very like, how would I say, like hipsters and stuff like that.
But then again, I feel like you have such a original pop sound that with like a little bit of a Latin flavor, that your music would be widely accepted in a place like that, because it's cultural.
Yeah.
It's something that's almost like the edge of pop, but you're pushing the limits as far as hip hop goes. That's what I try to do here at the Plug Up Pod. Like, I only book guests that are moving music in a new direction, and I think you're doing a fantastic job of that right now. I want to shout out you and your motherfucking team for coming through deep AF on some real Mexican shit to show support. I can just imagine y'all went to breakfast, right? Y'all
we got tacos. Yeah, we got tacos.
Okay. Me and this fool woke up like one? Like, yo, man, did last night really happen type shit? So I whipped up some huevitos with the torta and just, here you go, child. Put this in your stomach so you live. That's what we had to do before we engaged in this edition, goddamn.
The show.
So, tell me a little bit about your background. When did you start making music?
I guess I like really started tapping into it a lot when I was like between the age of 9 and 10. I was a big time like Chris Brown like fanatic.
Okay.
I used to love Chris Brown, and at the time I was really like playing I don't even remember the name of the album. I think it was called Chris Brown. Like, it was his first album, the one where he's wearing like an all-white suit with the fedora hat. And I would play his songs over and over again. I would sing along to them, and at that point, like, I started like writing lyrics. At the time, we didn't have like rhyme or not. What is it called? Where you could look up lyrics? Rap Genius.
Rap Genius.
Yeah, like we didn't have that at the time. So I would like write. I would have to like listen to his music and like write the lyrics, and then like
You're a young transcriber.
So that's how it started. Like I was like doing that, and then I got real into the movie 8 Mile had came out at the time too, and we had a karaoke machine. So I got like, me and my cousins would like freestyle on the karaoke machines when we were little. Like we were trying to imitate the movie pretty much.
Okay.
And from there we got into like Rock Band came out, and also like when my cousins, they used to always make me the singer. They never let me play the drums. They never let me play the guitar. Like strictly, like you're gonna be our singer. And that song by Beastie Boys, No Sleep Till Brooklyn.
No.
I used to be able to hit the whole thing.
Goddamn.
And I don't know, it just kind of like went from there.
Are any of these guys here your cousins?
Yeah, that one over there. Yes.
Gang.
Yeah.
Shout them out real quick.
Oh, shout out to A-Rod.
Come on, let's go. Take a shot.
That's my day one.
Hashtag day one.
Yeah.
The other one.
He's also my photographer. He does a lot of my pictures too.
That's cool as fuck. Do you partake in photography? Like,
Yeah.
you take pictures?
I'm also a photographer. Actually, well, I started around the same time with photography. It started off with Tumblr. When Tumblr was popping, I was like, I want to like be what they're doing too.
A fucking topic near and dear to my heart. As people on the podcast know, I was a young Tumblr motherfucker. I was in that bitch talking to girls. I don't think I would have had half as many hoes I did when like those crucial 15 to 16-year-old years if it wasn't for Tumblr. Boy, I could pull up to any girl at that time and be like, what's your blog, man? And it was just like instant.
Yeah, I remember Tumblr was that. It was like when I was 15.
Oh, did you get angsty in your Tumblr, or was it just like a manifestation of your life?
I wasn't really into it. I was just like, I wasn't real big on the blogging part. I was just real into like the pictures people were taking. I was like, how are they making their pictures look like that? And then I just really started to teach myself. I still don't know anything about cameras. Like I was just kind of wing it. So I was just like, well, if it looks good, it looks good. So that's how that came about. Tumblr started the whole photography stuff.
What was the first website you started posting your music on?
SoundCloud.
Really?
Yeah. Like I was just like, I made my first song at damn, I don't remember the guy's name. But I went over to his crib and he had like literally just like a little sound board, and then he had like a Dell computer and a mic, like a regular microphone, not like a recording microphone. And I recorded a song with him there, and he was like, post it on SoundCloud. I was like, I don't even know what that is.
It's SoundCloud, baby.
So yeah, then we just posted on there, but it's no longer on there. It was terrible. I was like, I think I was 15. So.
Buy racks on whoever can find me that song. But fucking drop the link on the comments. We're gonna get lit. That's gonna be your behind the music.
Yo, that song's like, I don't even think anyone can find. I don't even think I can even find that song. That's how old it is.
I think about stuff like that all the time. By the way, like how much music do artists have that's like just in a file? Like,
oh yeah,
lost for eternity.
Yeah, there's a lot of songs that just kind of got lost.
So I have a little bit off the wall question here. Are those real glasses, or are you lying to people? Come on.
Definitely, they're not real.
Box up. I have to wear glasses every day of my life, so whenever I see somebody playing
no,
around
I actually do
glasses,
have glasses. I just don't like wearing the ones I do have.
Oh, are they like? Are they some real nerdy script like? No,
I just never liked them. I'm supposed to wear them, but it's just like.
Are you XBvalentine? Like, what's your day job?
I'm actually is it a waitress when it's a girl, right? Waitress. Yeah. I always confuse it. Yeah, I'm a waitress. So cool. That's what I do.
Tell me a little bit about your like mundane everyday. What's a morning in Georgetown like? Like, what do you do first thing?
Well, I go to work. No, I'm actually not in school. I'm like just waitressing, and that's how I'm all the money I make off of that like strictly goes into music. So
Okay.
So I'm just investing as much as I can into it. So that's really all I do. Like Monday through Friday, just like a regular. Yeah, just go to work, do regular things. And then weekends are normally like where I feel more like XBvalentine. Like during the week it's just regular old me, but like the weekends is when I feel like that's who I am. Cause I'm doing this like right now.
I totally wish I had that fucking privilege. I have to be this guy all the time, and it's fucking exhausting. I'm like, I have to be stoned, clean, and sometimes on time to places. Like that's a lot. Fucking asking a lot of old George. Yeah, sometimes I wish I could do that. Like, I'm not the type of person that could just turn anything on when it's like, on, it's on. Slept for 2 hours. Podcast life. So, tell me, what are some of the things you have coming down the pipe? Like, what are some future projects that you see yourself embarking on?
Like, solo projects, or you mean?
Yeah, solo, by yourself, and then if you have any, like, features and stuff, let's get into that later.
I mean, right now it's kind of strictly just putting out as many singles as I can. Like, try to build a solid fan base until it's to a point where I know that fan base is loyal enough to, like, actually purchase, a full-on, like, project. Mm-hmm. So that's basically, like, what I'm trying to do as of now is just put out as many singles as I can.
Okay. So would you say you focus your hustle on actual like record sales and selling your album as opposed to going out and doing tours and getting booked places?
Yeah, I think right now that's basically the main focus is just putting music out. And then, of course, I'm trying to do like shows here and now and then, you know, just to help that buzz. But yeah, the main focus is based like just the music in general.
Okay. So, do you play any instruments?
I can play the guitar, but not like fully. I'm getting there.
I'm like a middling guitar player. Like my brother Chito's an amazing piano player, but I've picked up the old 6-string. I think that shit's fun. Kids, this message to all the youngins at home: fucking pick up an instrument. It makes you smarter.
Definitely, yeah. My little brother, he plays the violin, and that kid.
He's a little Mozart.
He's like that kid something else. He can play the violin, and he's 12, and he's
the girl's name. The name you gave me before when we were on the phone.
Oh, Bianca?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I was trying to, you know, work around it. I'm saving up my DJ Vlad question for later.
So, I mean, you're asking is like how does that transition feel when I'm not me?
When I'm not me.
Yeah, when I'm not. I mean, it feels cool, you know. It's like the person that you work so hard to be. So it's like a little taste of it for a while.
Oh shit.
So I guess that's like I don't know. That's how I feel. So it's like really sad whenever I had to go back to being, you know, the reality of it. It's like dang, but it reminds you why you keep doing what you're doing, because at some point it's not gonna be just the weekend. It's gonna be forever. So that's like what I'm working towards.
You will be fucking forever enshrined in time. Diego, what's the time?
12 minutes.
Okay, cool. Break.
Alright. So like, I wonder if this is how it feels when people are like reality TV shows, like Full House, and they have a crowd of people watching them. It's pretty funny. So if we say something funny, like everyone would laugh or clap and stuff. You don't even have to like add that into it.
Like a live studio audience.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is brought to you by our live studio audience. Shout out to everybody that pulled the fuck up. XBvalentine rolls deep. So tell me, when did you realize you were like a born performer and that you actually like being on stage? By the way, do you mind holding my girlfriend Meredith?
Yeah.
She a thotty, so I passed her down, bros. You see?
Wait, sorry. What was the question? I got distracted.
When did you realize that you were born to perform and that you had that little bone in you?
I don't know. Man, I guess it was just like for a while it was nerve wracking. Like being on the stage. I started off just doing open mics at a hookah lounge. And I don't
Shout out all my Arabs.
I actually wasn't even of age at the time. I was 17. So if you were performing though, like, and you weren't like staying, you could actually like go and perform. So it was really, really nerve wracking just because my style of music was different at the time. I was doing like a lot of boom bap stuff.
Okay.
And like
you had hashtag bars?
Yeah, like I was very like just focused on lyrics at the time, and just I was infatuated like by like 90s music. I was just so at the time when I was doing that, it was really hard to like get a reaction out of people. And then little by little, my style changed, and it got to a point where I was doing shows, and people were coming up to me after like I was going on stage with no one knowing who I was, and then like getting off, and everyone trying to figure out like, okay, like you know you did a good job up there, like now I want to know like more of you. So I kind of like got addicted to that. Like I loved it. I loved the fact that people were coming up to me. They're like, dude, like you did such a good job. Like we weren't expecting that. After a while, I was like, I want to keep doing this. I want to keep doing it to the point where people came because they already know my music, you know. So it's like they're coming for me now. So it's like that's where I want to get to, where it's not like going on stage, them not knowing them, then liking you. I want to go up there because they're there for me that time. I don't know if that made sense. But
it does. It's actually a very interesting transition of power. That's like the line between I came to see a show and motherfucker, I came to see you. It's a whole different mindset. When people come out with expectations and stuff, there's an ability that some people have, some performers have, to deliver and give them a dope ass show. Like the show you played on Saturday and the one my motherfucking man Blue just threw last night. Shout out all the performers. Everybody has been in rare form this fall, and I'm absolutely thrilled and just excited for the music that you're putting out. Actually, the whole Dallas community so far.
For sure.
So, what were your like aspirations as a little kid? Did you always want to be a musician, or did you want to do like an actual adult job?
I wanted to be a veterinarian.
I just fucking thought, dude, I saw that picture in my head so fast. The two things I've imagined while I've been sitting here talking to you is you fucking hyped as fuck going like, New York, like on some 90s shit performing when you were like 15. And you being a veterinarian. Like, I just imagine you being like one of those kids that did not leave animals alone and went to house parties to pet dogs.
Yeah, but it was, I don't know how that happened. I guess, honestly, everything has to do with my cousin. Like, everything when I was younger, like being there at his house, like, they had so many animals.
Was that guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Oh shit.
He lives in a ranch, so like growing
Boy.
up, we had like all kinds of animals there. So I was just, I don't know, I love dogs, and I just want to be a vet.
Aww.
So how it all stopped, my 8th grade, we took a career trip. So at the time, I wanted to be a vet, so I chose a veterinarian. So I got to go to a hospital. It was a pet hospital called Zoots. It's like a luxury pet hospital there in Georgetown. And so we went, a couple kids, and we saw a dog get surgery there. So they were like showing you, something. I almost passed out. Like, I've never seen anything like that. And at that day, like, I knew I wasn't gonna be able to do this. I was like,
damn.
I can't sit here and watch. He was getting eye surgery.
Oh god. That was extra.
I was watching the dog like get eye surgery, and I was like, nah, I can't do this. Like, so I had to switch careers, and yeah, so I got led into this. Somehow it worked better than being a vet.
Kids, stay in school unless that shit is gross.
But yeah.
So tell me a little bit about some of the artists that you've worked with, and like who do you want to have features from before the year is over?
Well, I honestly haven't worked with a lot of artists. Like, I've always just been used to me being on the track. It's easier whenever you get to choose how you want to go with it, instead of someone else trying to like figure out how, they should go on the beat that you've already been on.
Mm-hmm.
So there's only one artist really that I've worked with a lot, or two. There's two artists. I've worked with Deverano a lot. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he's actually from New York, and he's actually getting a buzz out there. And another artist from my hometown, which is Young D. I've actually done. I don't know if you went further down in my catalog, but I had a song called Susie's Lullaby, or Where You Belong. Well, those two songs he's on. Those were like the only features I have on that one and Deverano. So those are two artists I've worked with. One from Georgetown and then one from New York. And if there's anyone I really want to work with, does it have to be like local, big, or is...
Oh, girl, you tell me. Like, who do you think you can get? Because right now with the internet, I'm telling you, you can just fucking slide in the DMs, be like, yo, what's up? My name's XBvalentine, I'm Black Spot. You can come through and do this feature for the low. Actually, you know what? Don't even charge me. Just come through and eat some carne asada. Check you out. And make connections that way. So
yeah.
Who would you get a feature from if you could, if it was anybody?
Anybody. There's two artists I really, really want to work with. Like, I'll die happy if I get to at least have a song. Is Ellie Sastre and The Weeknd.
Who?
Ellie Sastre, I'm pretty sure you haven't heard of him, but he's actually like coming up right now. But he's a very like, you know who Nav is, right?
Yeah, sort of like melodic.
Yeah, he's kind of like, he sounds a little similar to him, kind of, but different in a way. He has like that high-pitched voice, but sings on his beats. So those are the two artists, him and The Weeknd. The Weeknd is just someone I really, really, really want to work with. So.
I've noticed throughout your music that you're actually kind of vocally talented. You have a little bit of range, and when did you realize that you were a singer? Like that you had that ability, that was in your little tool bag?
Well, I started off trying to do what I'm doing now. I wanted to sing so bad. Like, I was obsessed with The Weeknd and Johnny Rain. I don't know if you know who Johnny Rain is either. They're all like
R-E-I-G-N?
Like Johnny, Johny.
R-E-I?
Like rain, like actual rain. Yeah, like that. Well, they all have. It's like considered dark R&B. Okay. So I wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds very fucking.
Like, that's what their genre is, I guess.
I feel like goth bitches love dark music.
But yeah, so I was like listening to them a lot, and then I just wanted to sound just like them. At the time I was 15 though, but I couldn't sing, and then I was like my voice was still developing at the time too, so I sounded like a little kid. So I was recording. I had finally went to a real studio, but at the time I liked it, but other people didn't like it. I mean, I was 15, you know, I was still trying to learn. So I kept on doing it, and I completely let it go. I was like, I cannot sing. I can't sing. Not even enough auto-tune was making it sound good. So it got to the point where I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna just start rapping. So I just dropped that, and I started rapping, kept on rapping, but I was still like singing, like to myself. I was like singing along to songs and stuff, and then I got vocal lessons for like a year and a half, and it kind of helped, but not a lot. But then after that, that's when I started like singing more. I would always sing my hooks. Every song I ever did, I would sing my hooks. And then that's when one day I was like, what if I just sing throughout the whole song? Because the hooks sounded good to me, and I was like, if I can finesse the whole song to sound like the hook sounds, like, then I'm pretty sure I could do it. So then that's how it kind of came along, was, you know, hearing how I can sing on my hooks, and then just, you know, putting that into a whole song. And then that's how it came. Because I can't sing, like, I can harmonize my voice. That's how I like to say it. Like, I can rap pretty. I guess that's the way.
Oh, God. Damn, that's a sick ass name for an album, Rap Pretty.
Like, it's just, I don't know, it's like rapping, just singing at the same time.
God damn, we have great ideas over here in the Plug Up Pod. Rap Pretty? Rap Pretty? I'm fucking putting a little R next to that. You want that? That's a bill. Like, tell me when you realized that this music shit was for you. Like, that do you wanted to pursue this as a career as opposed to just doing it for fun?
I think it's like once you kind of, it gives you like, just say it like when you smoke. You do it because you like it, right? Like, you like the feeling that it gives you. You know, it makes you feel like good, it relaxes you. It's like, it takes you to a different spot in your, like, I don't know how to explain it, like, it just makes you feel good. So I think it's the same with music. Like, every time I was in the studio, or I was writing, or I was putting stuff together, it gave me like a similar feeling. It's like a natural high. Like, you're just addicted to it, and you don't want to stop doing it because of how good it makes you feel. And something about music just kind of like gives you confidence that you didn't have before. Like, honestly, without music, I wouldn't have the confidence that I'm starting to have because of what it does. You know, it kind of gives you like, I guess, more power in a way. Like, it makes you feel more in control of what you're doing. I don't know how to like put it in words, but it's like, that's just something about music.
I thought that was actually a really good way to put it. Like, music and the act of creation and expressing yourself gives you overall more control over the type of person you are. Like, it gives you like this really good creative outlet to let yourself just flow and be in that XBvalentine state as opposed to the Bianca state. Because, you know, Bianca hold the tray and ask people if they need a refill, but XBvalentine, she's that bitch. Like, XBvalentine will really lay down any track on anybody. So there's like a marked difference in between when you're being like a creative and when you're being just an individual. That's why there needs to be that marriage of creative individual. You feel me?
Yeah.
So whenever somebody asks you what you do, you just be like, I'm a creative individual. Like, I live a fucking double life, low key.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, that's just how it just makes you feel good, makes you feel alive.
Do you feel like you have a connection between like chiefing and making music? Like, you smoke in the studio a lot?
No, honestly, like, I stay sober. Like,
for real?
Well, whenever I normally record, like, I tried it once. I tried to like smoke and then record, but this was when I didn't have like a tolerance for it. So I just couldn't, I was like overthinking the way I sounded. And me being a girl, like, and me already having like such a low voice, I was like, it wasn't coming out the way I wanted to. So whenever I'm like sober, it's like I can control the way I sound better.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm even when I write, I'm normally sober like all the time.
You know, actually, I have this conversation with artists in between how like the mind state that they like to create under, and I think that's really telling of the type of work they put out. Because I've had dudes in here like Milo Valor, who is like fucking, he's a little Zen monster. Have you ever heard of his music?
Who?
Milo Valor.
Uh-uh.
He did songs with like Pat Ron, Ease, like that little, I guess, scene of Dallas, and he's dope as Buck. Right now he's in rare form. He's making really interesting pop records that have like that dark Travis Scott, like you said, dark R&B edge to him. And he's a monster, bro. Like he has a studio at his crib. So if that nigga's fucked up and he just wants to record, he's fucked up. He wants to record. Yeah. But his music is very markedly different from yours. I feel like yours is very deliberated, and you've put a lot of thought behind it, and the rhythms are more like intricate, and that's just for a different audience than something like that. Yeah. What do you think is more popular? Like things that are a little bit more like organic and less thought of, like some more freestyle shit, or some more like organized, you came into the studio with a purpose and a goal and a beat and everything right there?
I think both, honestly, because like I feel like with the industry there's like two different routes. Well, in like this generation, because of how different hip hop is. Mm-hmm. Like it's changed, you know. It's like going through this phase where it's effortless, but it rides, if that makes sense. Like it's like you still feel it, you know, but you can tell there wasn't that much thought put into it.
It's effortless, but it rides. That I need to get a little notebook to just whip that bitch in sometimes.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like you can go that way, but that I feel like it's a gamble if you're doing that, just because there's so many people
that are also
trying to ride that wave. You know, they want to be like they just want to be like everybody else, and some people pull it off and they get lucky and they're there. And then there's this other side where they're organized about it, where they put it together, where it's very mainstream sounding
and methodical.
Yeah, and I feel like that side, since it's so put together, so like organized, it's like, how do you say it? Like more, it takes more time. Because it's like this side, you know where you're going, and there's only one way you can't go. In this side, you're like gambling with it. Either you get there right away from doing what you're doing, or you don't. So I feel like those are the two routes that you can take. And then, I mean, I like both though. Like both, you know, I enjoy some of it, but I think like that's just my opinion of those two different routes you can take, depending like the effort you put into your music.
Tell me, XBvalentine, what's in your playlist right now?
I listen to all kinds of music, like all kinds, but I listen to slow stuff. I don't listen to hype music. like if you go in my playlist, like every time I connect the aux cord, like everyone kind of like slowly
it's
goes down.
In the club.
It's like, man, like what happened to like it's not upbeat. I don't know. I grew up listening to a lot of R&B, like like OG R&B, like.
She says she wants some Marvin Gaye.
Before that. But I don't know, so I've always liked slow stuff. I listen to The Weeknd. Like he's very mainstream, but even before, like I was always just The Weeknd.
Classic Weeknd is my favorite Weeknd. That trilogy able nigga, that
House of Balloons, like the mixtape The Weeknd. That right there. But yeah, that's all I listen to. I listen to R&B. I like to listen to a lot of like 80s, like New Edition stuff.
Okay.
Bobby Brown. I've always liked, I don't know, something about that old sound.
I listened to R. Kelly this morning, real talk. I was getting dressed, and god damn it, R. Kelly, stop being crazy so I can interview you in the Plugged Up podcast. I can't have you right now. There's too much controversy because you're making it hot right now. You need to release your sex slaves and come on the Plugged Up podcast. So, XBvalentine.
Yes.
Tell the people at home where they can find you and give them the links to all your social media.
So everything is the exact same. SoundCloud, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. It is all XBvalentine. So it's all put together. Nothing is space. Nothing. There's no dots. Nothing. It's just XBvalentine.
That's XBvalentine. Please pull up on the girl, ladies and gentlemen. This has been another edition of the Plugged Up podcast. As always, my name is George Rodriguez. You can follow me on Twitter at Metaphor Raps. And this has been the XBvalentine episode. Gang!
Yeah, that's my last name too.
Woo! I get it. I'm not going to keep y'all any longer. So what's up?